everyone. Welcome to Angel Healing House Radio. My name is Claire Candy Hough. Through my business, Angel Healing House, which can be found at angelhealinghouse.com. I'm a writer and an author, an international radio host, a Reiki master teacher, and an angel practitioner. My inspirational books entitled Angels of Faith and One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, and my autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, are based on my recollections of our life in spirit, and they help us to remember our divine, eternal natures. Through Angel Healing House, I help people to let go of sadness, anger, bitterness, resentment, and regret that has kept them locked in the prison of the past, and I help them to let go of worry, stress, and control, which has kept them focused on an imagined future. And once they are no longer living in the past or the future, they can start to live in the present moment, which is the only place that they can experience synchronicities, miracles, and magic. As an angel practitioner, I help people to see their lives from a higher perspective with the help of an extraordinary group of angels who call themselves the Posse of Angels. Just like my angelic family, the Posse of Angels, I'm very excited to take some of your calls for that free angel advice. You can call into the show on 1-800-930-2819.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. We have planned a very, very special show for you today. So one of the things that I love is that I get to look back at my life. I get to look at, what it is that I've learned over a period of a bunch of years. And, I love still being a student. And today's show, I brought one of the best, Claire Candy Hough, to join us here today to talk about what it means when we're looking at mastering ourselves in 2018. This is the kind of year that I'm hearing language like, I could have done better. I'm in a slump. I don't know what else I could have done. I thought it was going to turn out that way. And it's only like February. I don't even understand what's going on with that. But then I'm also hearing some other things. I'm hearing things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that jump. It's amazing, or I'm hearing things like, I'm giving it all that I can, and I know that I'm going to be successful. The question really is, what is it about our lives where we think we are not in control of the outcomes when it comes to energy? Angel Healing House Radio, Claire Candy, whatever it is that you know or don't know, reawakening people to live their divine, eternal natures is what she does. And I've asked her to join me here today, not only a fabulous international host, but author, best-selling author, amazing out there in the world, works with each of you 24/7, her show, opening up the phone lines. And today we're doing the same. So if you're watching on Facebook and you want to get a question on here, just type it in Facebook, we'll get it on. If you want to call in and get it on, 1-800-930-2819. I'm going to let you know how you can find out more about Claire Candy Hough, as well as her show, her world. And for you all today, no question is off limits. This is about changing, stepping into, and opening up. Claire Candy, man, all right, what do you think about this? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pat. And I am so excited about this year. And I'm so glad you brought up about the Olympics, because it simply is not happen chance or random that the Olympics, those Winter Olympics, are happening in this year of 2018. It's showing us that the impossible is possible. I mean, I think she was German. She's been trying for a gold medal for 16 years, been
Right.
through several partners, and she finally made it. There are those with personal challenges who are gay and who have come out, and they're openly gay at the Olympics. What Olympics do we know? Would this have happened at? There are so many things that this Olympics is showing us that these people have mastered the master that's already inside of themselves and their own personal quest, whether they win gold, whether they win silver or bronze, or as Michaela Schiffer said,
Yeah.
when she did not medal in her second event, she tweeted out and said, "It simply is not a case of the medals. It is the personal triumph inside of just being here, of all of that hard work and that camaraderie coming together as a world and celebrating each and every one of us." And it's true. We may not go to the Olympics, but the things that we can give ourselves credit for, and believe me, it's been a long, long
Right.
journey, the dark night of the soul for many of us with so many challenges to get to this extraordinary year of 2018, which we'll be speaking about. So I've called this program Mastering Ourselves,
Yeah.
because everyone everyone has this mastery inside of them. I remember years ago, shortly after my angelic walk-in experience in January 11th of 2003, some spiritual guru was on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. I went along, and he stood up there and he asked this huge audience, "Who is the best master?" And somebody said, "He who has the most teachers and most students." And somebody said, "He who teaches this particular way of spirituality." I put up my hand, and he asked me, "Who is the best master?" And I said, "He who masters himself."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said, "There is no other answer." He said, "How did you know that?" I said, "From years and years of enlightenment through incarnations, getting it, that this journey that we've all been on to get us to this year has been fraught with challenges, challenges." About your own journey, Dr. Pat.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
of us, many of us have experienced divorce. Put my hand up.
Ah,
Many of us experienced financial ruin. There you go. Many of us experienced health problems.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and estrangement from family members. Two hands up there.
Yeah.
You're weird. That goes against the religion. That goes against the way the family thinks. And following the light, we have gone through this extraordinary journey, and we find ourselves in this very memorable year. I don't see it as a slump. I see it as our jumping off point in this year of 2018.
Yeah.
I'm sure you see it as exactly
Oh
the
yeah.
same way.
Yeah. I was watching some of the I mean, I'm going to come back as like a snowboarder. I think I'm going to come back as a snowboarder,
You
right?
and
Snowboarding.
Pete, you and my husband Pete,
Oh
exactly
yeah,
what he
we're
said.
going to come back as snowboarder. And I was looking at this snowboarding event where they got to go way, way, way. Like I don't even know how high that is.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the casual nature of these folks that snowboard. They're not looking down and panicking about the wind. They're pulling up their pants. And the women, I love the women. They're pulling up their pants. And one of them's got her headphones and she's like doing this here. Um, and what I'm struck by is, did anybody predict that in the world we're living in today, the tension of it, that South Korea and North Korea would come together as a unified Korea for the Olympics?
I mean, in this year of 2018, that should show us how much progress we truly have made. And it's there. It's a very clear example that of what is possible. I often point to the Berlin Wall.
Oh,
Forever, people said that wall wasn't going to come down. One day it was up. and the next day it was down. And that's the way the shift is happening with such rapidity on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we're talking about this because I am also struck by, in contrast to what we're talking about, possibilities, I'm also struck by the other side of that, the dark night, whatever you want to call it, contrast, all of that stuff that we want to tell ourselves and say, nope, I don't think I can do it. Nope, I'm over here and I'm looking at the slumping. Nope, I don't believe in unlimited possibilities and abundance. I'd rather choose scarcity. And I'm struck by that for the first time in a long time that I've been doing this show. Is it the nature of contrast or is it the year we're in? What is that thing that's happening with that?
It's actually the year that we're in. And even if people haven't shifted, they're being affected by these massive energies. January 1st saw an enormous portal of energy opening for us to heal so many things inside. And I'm not saying that there wasn't bacteria or virus or flu going around, but many of those were ascension symptoms that mirrored flu symptoms. People with the aching bones, with the headaches, with the chest congestions, with all of these things, to finally get us to release and heal that which needed to be healed, so that we can step into those mastery things when we are presented with them, and we can be clear. Now, those people who are still holding on to scarcity, we just went through the January 31st lunar eclipse.
Tell us about that. Tell us
Okay.
about that, because people almost forgot that we did that.
Okay, yes. Okay, but the universe didn't forget that we
No,
did
no,
that.
no, no.
Okay. Now, the lunar eclipse is what the energies of it start to I was going to say manipulate, but it starts to move energy, unseen things, people, connections, opportunities, events behind the scenes. We can't see it, but it's our intentions and our energies that start with the lunar eclipse, that start things moving on an unseen level. And then we've been very fortunate to experience on the 15th the solar eclipse, which takes all of those events and opportunities and all those things in fulfillment and answer to our prayers or our energies that we focused on, and they bring them into the light of manifestation. So those of us who are very aware of all of this, we are going to be presented towards the end of February and into March and April are going to be huge for light workers that have been on this path and have faithfully stepped up every time they've heard the voice of spirit. Now, those people in scarcity, they have been affected by this as well. And they may not know it, but there's no more having a foot in either camp. You either are with the ascension or you're not. And the energies, some people thought that we were actually going to be taken off planet and third dimension was going to be left on the earth, and then nobody else of higher dimension was going to be here. But the energies have split in such a way that those of us living in fifth dimensional reality, we experience a very different reality from those in the third dimension and those that are still hanging on to lack and scarcity. So whether they think they're affected by it or not, they are. And it's these energies that are causing them to rethink what they're doing, what choices they're making, and all of this. I wanted to speak about this year being an 11 year.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And we're going to skip the break, Benny. And then we also have a caller. We'll go to the phone in a minute. Okay. I have a feeling we're going to be skipping a lot of breaks. But let's talk about the 11 year.
The
That's
11
my
year
number. Yeah.
Okay, 11 year is really important.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, 2 + 1 + 8 is 11. Now, there are two camps. Some people say that it is a 2 year, that you must reduce that 11. I'm one of those people that says 11 cannot be reduced. 11 represents enlightenment, inspiration, heightened attainment, and illumination. It means that we've come full circle and deeply know that the journey that we have always been on was not to save the world. not to change anybody else, but it was for our own spiritual enlightenment. And this is to be the example of the shift, of the ascension of unity, love, kindness, forgiveness, and peace. So you take a number 1, and that's new beginnings. You double that 1 for an 11, and it means new beginnings of pure intention and fulfillment for higher ideals, or some would say fulfillment for ideals for humanity. And each one of us will be called in our own way to step up. Now, let's not forget those who reduce it to a number 2. Number 2 years are all about taking what we focused on before, like the magician card, the alchemist card in tarot, and then number 2 comes in to bring us the opportunities and connections to help what we imagined as magicians in our visions, in our visualizations, in our imaginations, and it comes in and manifests in the physical. It also brings in the relationships which have the money, have the authority, have the wherewithal to get us to step into the next platform, for us to go public, for us to have that recognition, and for us to live our divine life's purpose. So whether you believe it's an 11 or whether you believe it's a 2, we all that are on this path have the clarity now and the courage to create our lives, because we've been through the very hard won battles, as I said, of divorce and all of
Yeah.
those things, financial ruin. But
Yeah.
now we find ourselves at a very different threshold, and the mastery comes from letting go and surrendering everything we knew our lives to be before. A lot of people are saying, nobody's coming to my healing practice anymore. The phone has gone dead. And I said, this is because Spirit is getting you ready for the next platform that you're going to step up on to be a best service for yourself and be the example and the greatest good of all things.
I love
And
what
all,
you're talking about because it's so quickly when we're faced with changes. And that's a change. Had people come into my practice, now they're not coming. And we think the game is over.
mm,
See, we go to that game over. But, if
exactly.
right, we want to go to like, game over. You fall on the ice, you pick yourself up, and then the next time out, you get the best score you ever have
Yep.
because it ain't over till it's over.
Absolutely. And there are some things that I I spoke about on my radio program that are so important for all of us. We need to allow ourselves to be led by spirit. We
Yeah.
need that will show us what is possible, not what we thought our life would be, not what we should do. I created this healing practice. It was wonderful. I was turning it over 15, 12 years ago or whatever, but I've outgrown that now. And and there are other people which will take up that mantle, but Spirit has something else in mind. And every time we allow ourselves to go the direction that Spirit wants us to move in, it's for the greatest good of our growth of our soul. And it will be more miraculous than our linear mind could have ever thought or figured it out, because
Hmm.
that's the realm of miracles, and that's what's happening in 2018. We also need to allow ourselves. I did a program in January called Dare Yourself in 2018, and I said to my listeners, this year, if you want to experience something that you've never experienced before and can't get over, well, I don't have the certification, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm in lack or whatever. If you say these 3 things and you just bring it into your heart, the energy will start to be created. And these are the 3 things. In 2018, I give myself permission to feel uncomfortable, so that I can experience the unforgettable, the memorable, the remarkable, and the exceptional. Now, how many people would ask to feel uncomfortable? Not many, because many people want to default to what they know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
how do we experience so much more of our potential if we don't allow ourselves to get out of our comfort zone, to take off that coat that's become too small so we can put on that new coat? And I can guarantee you, every time Spirit asks you to step forward, not only can you do it, you have the wherewithal to do it, but there are miracles on the other side of that. And that's where faith comes in, having the faith to know and to allow yourself as a child of God to be led. So that's the first one. Allow yourself to be led by Spirit and allow yourself to feel uncomfortable. Now, the second one is, I give myself permission, I love this one, to live a life in which what manifests to fulfill my heart's longings actually surprises me in ways that I never thought possible. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to even know what's coming. And every time I've asked my psychic friends and tuned in or whatever, Spirit has that blocked for me because they want me to be surprised. It's something which in my wildest dreams, I could never have imagined. But I'll be able to do it because it's presented to me. Sure, I might have to get up to speed,
Yeah.
and the lingo on different things, but if it's presented, everyone has the wherewithal to do it because that's the way Spirit works. God never asks anything of us that we cannot do. And that third one, in 2018, I give myself permission to live a life which is so miraculous that only the hand of God and the angels could have orchestrated the miracles and the magic to fulfill my heartfelt longings. And in this way, you surrender and you let go of your attachment and expectation as to what you think your life should have looked like. If the world is ascending, and deep down, as light workers or whatever you want to call us, that's what we truly want, then everyone is telepathic and they don't need readings.
Yeah.
Then everyone is able to heal themselves and they don't need energy work. So what happens with your healing practice? Kaput. And a lot of people are going into fear because that's their identity. But if we truly wish for this to happen, we have to let go of everything we know ourselves to be. If somebody, Dr. Pat, gets their identity from their achievements, the books they've written, not that they're not proud of it, but if they hang their shingle on that,
Yeah.
then there's no room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Mm-hmm.
no room to be surprised by life. I am a lifelong learner.
Yeah. What I love about these three things that you mentioned are so important for us to hold on to because we are in the process of redefining the narrative on miracles. And so let me tell you what I mean, and then we'll go to the phones. What I mean is miracles, when I was growing up, was usually for a saint or sainthood, right? Right? You go out, you gotta get a miracle, you're gonna go out there, you're probably a saint, or you're gonna be a saint, or you're gonna be something, but that's the miracle.
Yep.
We're looking at a new realm for people today, and that is we are the miracle, and the degree by which we can accelerate manifestation, energy, vibration, angelic realm cannot be quantified.
Yes.
We don't have the tools to measure it. And yet we don't believe we can. We don't believe we're miracle makers, game changers. We believe we're waiting for the stock market. But your message today is I'm hearing time is now, wait no more.
Yeah. Yeah. We've only got the present moment. And people say, well, I haven't been given any signs yet as to how to step forward. And I say, okay, if you truly have been staying in the present moment and signs were not given to you yet, not now doesn't mean never. And if you haven't been given a sign, it means that you have been given the opportunity to create.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say to God and the angels, okay, I know that you have my back. I know that prayers are always answered. I will wait on you. But in the meantime, it's not that I'm going to wait and do nothing. I'm going to create and use my abilities and be excited, enthusiastic, and passionate about bringing forth, whether write that book, create that blog, or rescue, shelter animals, or whatever it is that floats your boat, that brings you that joy and is of service to others. And then when it is time, I know that that you will come knocking at my door, and I will step forward in faith, um, because we are always in co-creation with that higher source, and it's never nobody is ever forgotten by spirit.
Yeah, I love when someone said to me, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we got Beth from Maui. We got Jay from Canada. Jay from Canada. Claire Candy. Jay has been a listener for 15 years. We're going to take a short break. But before we do, how can people find out more about you? We've got a lot more to cover today.
Yes, we do. Please go to my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com. That number is 831-277-3716. And you can always watch on Facebook Live, and also listen to Angel Healing House Radio on this lovely platform of Transformation Talk Radio every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I take callers on that program as well, and bring forth wonderful channeled messages from my angelic family, the Posse of Angels. So there's a number of ways to get a hold of me.
I love it. And when we come back, we're going to go to the phones. We got lots more. And by the way, we have an invitation for everybody out there. I'm fired up today. I'm a fire sign, but I'm also got 4 planets in Capricorn. So I don't know what that is. It's kind of like a combination of, as my friend said to me, you think big and then you actually work for a living, Pat. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go to the phones. I'm Dr. Pat, Claire Candy. When we come back, here's the invitation. The invitation is to open up to everything. Open up to everything. What does that mean? How do you hold the energy of possibilities? How do you do that? Well, you're going to find out from Claire today. But for those of you out there, man, if you're using the word slump, get rid of it. If you're using the word down, get rid of it. If you're using the word limitation, get rid of it. If you're saying not enough, get rid of it. And we're going to tell you what to replace it with. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you discovered the remarkable books at angelhealinghouse.com? Author Claire Candy Hough has channeled rare books of inspiration and insight.
Angels of Faith is an inspiring story of healing, comfort, and hope that reminds us that death is not to be feared, but embraced with joy.
One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, takes readers on a roller coaster ride through Angel Ariel's 5 most important lives on Earth, as well as her experiences in the afterlife, and helps us remember our own journey across the veil.
And Claire Candy's autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, which details the 2003 soul exchange that took place when Claire Candy walked out of her body and Angel Ariel walked in, creating heaven on earth for herself and others.
To find out more about these wonderful books, visit angelhealinghouse.com today. To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Hough, Angelic Walk-In Angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now 831-277-3716 or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat, and listen, Claire Candy, you can listen to her show every week on Transformation Talk Radio, but I would encourage you to tap into what it is that she is bringing forth in the world. And, when you are surrounded, by the angelic realm, when you're surrounded by the world of possibilities, then you can help others do that. Claire, before we go to the phones, can you please let folks know again how to find out more about you? And then we're going to turn it over to Benny.
Okay, you can go to my website, angelhealinghouse.com, and that number is 831-277-3716, and you can always listen to my Angel Healing House radio program every week on Transformation Talk Radio, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm very excited today as it is the first day that my book, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, is it went, by the way, that and my other novel, One True Home, went #1 Amazon bestseller internationally in 5 countries, both of them. You talk about miracles happening last year. But the Audible for I Am an Angelic Walk-In, the audio that I narrate as myself, Angel Ariel, and the narrator's part is available today on audible.com.
I love it. Now, listen, for those of you out there, the question really is going to be for all of us. What are we going to believe this year? What are we going to believe? And how are we going to get you some help in all of the above? Mr. Benny, let's go to phones.
All right, we can do that. We'll take Beth calling in from Maui. Hello, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Aloha.
Aloha, Beth. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. I love this dialogue. It's wonderful. I just wanted you to touch on the concept around mastery and goals.
Mm-hmm. And goals. Did you say mastering and goals? GOALS.
Mastery and accomplishing goals, because I think that gets confusing for people.
Oh, okay. All right. We have, it is wonderful to set goals because we are, as humans, as spiritual beings having a human experience, we are pure intention. That's what we can consciously or unconsciously control, is our intentions, our desires, our dreams, our wishes, all of those things. And then we can visualize what things that we would love to eventuate or come as a result of those visualizations, those intentions. Those are our goals that we would like to accomplish. Mastery, on the other hand, is what we have, the puzzle piece that we have to work with spirit. Some people may want the goal to publish a book. Let's say that, and they self-publish the book, and then all of their life they feel like they haven't accomplished the goal because it was not published by an authorized publishing house. But they achieve that goal. And all the while, that energy of not being satisfied and not being satisfied with that goal undermines their mastery. Who knows what lives it was supposed to touch? Who knows whether that in this life they were only supposed to bring it out to have that pride in themselves and to have that voice. So goals and mastery are 2 different things.
Okay, perfect.
Well, did you understand that, Beth? Because I sense you have a follow-up question. Is there something that you're out there trying to achieve right now? Something that, listen, my mom was from the South. She used to say, "Oh, honey, you got a burr under your saddle." And I never got it until one day she said to me, in that analogy, Pat, you're the horse. So never got it. Thought I was the rider. But this is really the energy of possibilities, Claire, right? I mean, there's this question. Yeah.
It is. And do you know what? With all that we've been through, Beth and Dr. Pat and everyone who is listening, we are not the same people that we were a month ago. a year ago. And a lot of those goals that we had are past their use by date because we have ascended so far past those goals. Those goals were actually limited for where we are going in 2018. So because we don't fully know the extent of what would be so tremendous for our soul's growth and to be of the greatest service, it's almost as if we need to surrender those goals and say, I am open to receive the way in which God, to make space for God to breathe miracles into my life in 2018. So think about a lot of those goals. They just might be have that, past its use by date on them. They may not transcribe, or they may not carry over into the energies of the eclipse season and that huge portal of energy that led us to heal so much. Those goals may be now a thing of the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this question because what you just said is what we're experiencing here, because we threw the goals out. We said we are moving too fast that the goals, by the time we sit down and put the game plan together for the goals, we're getting a new direction. Isn't part of this being able to adjust and change and go with the flow? I mean, and to not just do it from that point of view, but do it from the angelic realm, right? Beth, are you with us here?
I'm listening. I was just going to say that all of that makes so much sense, because what I've experienced is letting the goal for mastery for me is just what it feels like to be in the present moment with that experience. So the feelings are more there as opposed to the visual pictures and goal setting of goals is what it feels like more in this mastery energy, that it's more about being happy, joyful, and content in this moment and feeling what it feels like to have all of that met.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a very exciting year, and we just need to allow ourselves to be led by spirit and to really surrender and let go of anything where we expected or are attached to in order for us to grow and in order to be that magnet for miracles to come to us.
I love it. Beth, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
Okay. Love you lots. Take care. Bye.
Giant hugs. Mr. Benny.
All right, taking a flashback, we got Jay calling back in from Canada. Jay, welcome back, bud.
Jay.
Hey,
Hi,
Dr.
Jay.
Pat.
Jay,
Hey,
my
Claire.
gosh,
Good to talk to
I
you
was
both.
just talking about you the other day, and you have one of the most popular sound bites ever recorded on this show as a listener. And do you know what it was, Jay, back then? And then we'll get your question to Claire. Do you remember the question you asked almost 13 years ago or something?
Don't recall.
Okay. You asked the famous question, what about spiritual constipation? Oh my God. But how can we help you today, Jay? And thank you for being such a loyal listener, man.
You're very welcome. It was great talking to you again, as always. I had great talking to you, Claire.
Hi,
Again.
Jay. Yeah, we've been buds for a while.
Yeah.
Nice to hear your voice.
You too. I really love your wisdom that you're sharing today. So, I do have a question, actually, and it's, I don't know what's happening in this world, but we've become a thankless society in a way in how we communicate. It's not so intimate, or it's not so personal. It's just impersonal now. And I wish I share you this because, for me, I have a regular job, and I sent out thank you letters to my suppliers, and they were really grateful about that. I know I'm sharing this with you, Dr. Pat, because I shared my thank you-ness by giving you a stage a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And I just find, how can we actually turn it around or shift it, because it's not really connecting us as a human being together now. We think we're connected, but we're not. We're connected virtually, but we're not really connected as in, even conversation now is done on texting or something like that. So it's just, I just wonder what your thoughts about that is, because we got to get this together, because otherwise we're going to lose each other in terms of how we're going to be more of a society of really being more whole, but not disconnected.
It's so true. And I was having this discussion with my 88-year-old mother, who is certainly not a tech whiz. And she said, Candy, she says, wherever I go, people are just face down in their phones and they don't talk anymore. And I said, yeah, but Mom, I said, the world has gotten smaller because of technology, and we have had certain advantages that it's brought, but it also has done away with the art of conversation, the art of listening, the art of acknowledging, and all of that stuff. The only thing that I can say, Jay, is for each and every one of us to be the example, and it touches people's hearts. For instance, on Valentine's Day, an owner of a very small flower shop, she was inundated. She ordered too many roses, and at the end of the day, she found herself with too many roses. There's lots of flower shops, and there's lots of places you can shop for flowers online. And so she took brown paper and her ribbons and her strings, and she bundled up not just the roses, but different flowers that would have been off in a day or two, even if they weren't refrigerated. And she decided to drive through the numerous drive-throughs that were open 24 hours in her city. And she drove up to the drive-through and she said, "Happy Valentine's Day. You're doing a wonderful job, and these are for you."
Mm.
Now, that just made me cry. I thought
Yeah.
what she, might have had to spend a little bit more for her petrol and her time or whatever, but what a beautiful thing. The only thing that I can tell you is the more that we are the example and the more that we take time to really engage with people, they can feel our energies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our energy, even though they may not be conscious of it, Jay and everyone who's listening, it touches their hearts and it opens their hearts in such a miraculous way. We may never know it. We may never know it, but that's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because that's God speaking through our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And each of us has the capacity to be able to do this.
Yeah. And Jay, you are a shining light. Listen, I want to say this. We have, Claire Candy, we have the best listeners on the planet.
We do.
And 15 years in the making. And Jay, from day one, you've called in, you've followed us. And a friend of, well, you may not know her as a friend, but her name is called Susie Hutchins right here. Susie, I don't know if you all can see this card. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to tell you, you are a special lot. You are grateful. You are recognized. And 15 years ago, I called a challenge out for all of you to be the shining light for others that are not. How do I know? People say, Claire, Jay, people say, how do you know people are listening? Let me tell you, this card Susie made, how do I know she's listening? One day she hears me talk about ping pong. So she cuts out on the card, she made the card herself, the good news health about ping pong. Then she talks about fiber. Then you open the thing up, right? And you're looking at the card and you're opening it up. I don't know if I can get it in front of the camera. I'm not, I don't even know where my lens is. And then she says, you help us to, right? She's talking about us. You help us to be informed, feel terrific, express your creativity, love, relax and have fun, feel inspired, meet inspiring people. You said, I'm telling you, I got to watch what I said. You said positivity rules. Now, listen, thank you for great radio shows. She's saying, thank me. Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Thank all of the hosts. Thank all the people. But Jay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. We're all in this together. And it's back to 2018. It's an extraordinary threshold of a year because we are now understanding that you, me, Dr. Pat, everyone, we are an integral puzzle piece contributing to the light of this planet in every single moment. And it's time each of us realize that it's through our kindness and our love, and it's that, and being that example. It's that shining that first succumbs the darkness, but it also then is the example, as Dr. Pat said, and so many others, that they can be the shining light to think to themselves, oh, I have some extra time. Maybe I'll go, I love dogs. Maybe I'll go volunteer at a shelter or help to, foster dogs or children or whatever it is that you love. And it's that love that will change the planet.
Well, we have a card for you, Jay. I think, Claire, you have a card, but I have a little card from my little thing here that I do. And it says, the universe is with you. The universe is with you. All the power of the universe is with you. Isn't this funny? This is your message, Claire, right? For this year.
Absolutely.
It says, but here's the thing. Feel it, know it, and then act as if it were true. There are no slumps. There are no failures. It just doesn't happen if we hold on to it. What message do you have, Claire, for Mr. J?
Oh, thank you.
Well, the funny thing, Jay, is that when what we spoke about last time, excuse me, is that any time, and we all go through those things where we're not happy all the time. Excuse me.
Yeah.
We're not upbeat. We're not, some days are just, they're just there for us. And the way to turn that around is by saying, okay, how can I be of service? How can I be of service to myself? If I don't feel like being of service to others, it's because maybe I'm too tired. Maybe I'm too exhausted. Maybe I need to nurture and nourish my soul. And by doing that, we feed the planet. I did pull 2 cards today, which I think would be great to bring up now. In my animal deck, I was asking about 2018 and what messages that we really need to understand about this year. And the bee came up. And the bee is a message about getting the sweetness out of life. And we only get the sweetness out of life if we get out of our own way and we stop trying to figure life out. And this is for you, Jay. We stop figuring life out and we live it rather than figuring it out. And that's where the sweetness comes from. We allow ourselves to be led by spirit, and also acting, knowing that we are a community on planet Earth, and that each of us holds this integral puzzle piece of the planet to bring forth in ways that we love doing, that nurture ourselves, they serve the divine inside each of us, and then we go out and we serve others. The other card that I drew, which could help you, Jay, is this crystal deck that I have. And I drew Moonstone, and it says underneath cycles, is to understand the cycles of our life. Now, a cycle could last a day. It could last a month. It could last years. But the cycle that we're going into 2018 for all of us means that we are ready. We have listened to the podcast. We have done the healing. We've done the work. We understand it all intellectually. And now we must let go to allow God and the angels to show us how to step forth and to be of best service for humanity, for the survival, and not just the survival, but the thrival for this planet to thrive with that love and that forgiveness and that unity and that acceptance. And like I said, somebody could take this Olympics and write a book about it, about the spiritual messages that are portrayed in this Olympics, and with North Korea and South Korea coming together. Yeah. It brings tears to my eyes because it is a Berlin Wall. That's what it is. And it's showing everyone what is possible in this year. So I'm going to pull some cards for you, Jay, now that I've got you on the line.
Oh, thank you.
Just as a follow-up to this, and see what comes through for our lovely listener, Jay. Okay, first card for you is the Hermit. The Hermit, I know on a lot of levels that you have been thinking that you have been sequestered away. Either you've been forgotten, or that that things haven't turned out the way that you thought that they would turn out. Those of us that go through the most difficult dark night of the soul are most probably the strongest warriors, because it is allowing you to really transmute and to transform, not only for yourself, but others on the planet, those feelings of isolation, that I am every bit a child as God, and glorious, even if those things don't work out for me. And maybe you felt held back, or maybe you felt like you couldn't step forward. But the next card that's coming out for you, it's funny, I chose the B card, and in my deck, this is the Fortitude card, the Strength card, which shows a woman in front of a beehive. And the message for you, Jay, is to continue to get the sweetness out of life. And I remember our last conversation that if you can't muster up anything that is of to make you happy, then go help those that are less fortunate, and you will see the joy on their faces when you read to a blind person, when you help children in hospital that are terminally ill, when you just have a conversation with an elderly person who's been forgotten by their family and friends. So look for ways and ask Spirit to bring you ways to increase the sweetness in your life. And then the last card is Justice. And then you will feel this not only justice inside of you, but that you're living your truth, because you have so much to offer, Jay. Just allow yourself to be led by Spirit in order to do this. So I hope that's been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is beautiful. Beautiful messages right through the hour. So I'm really grateful.
Wow.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful. Gratitude.
Jay,
Both of you.
thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for, your unwavering support. And what message do you have for us today?
Yes. What message, Jay?
Be open to all possibilities that show up in the moment, and go for them, and do not hesitate of those opportunities, and don't forget them, and do not put them away.
I love it. I love it, because if we truly do want to allow ourselves to feel uncomfortable and open ourselves to, I'm just getting shivers, open ourselves up to what Spirit is encouraging us to do or wants us to do, it could be a little bit scary.
Yeah, boy.
Boy.
Yeah. But, as this card in front of me says, it's trust. And, trust will help us bust through the crust.
I love it.
Sarah, thank you for a great show. Last question. Please tell folks how they can find out more about you, how they can get a copy of your book, and what's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
You have no idea how beautiful, how magnificent, and how powerful you are. Allow yourself to dance and co-create. When Spirit comes knocking at your door, open that door, fling your arms open up, and just say yes, because they wouldn't be knocking at your door unless you were fully capable to do what they're asking you, and they will be with you at every step of the way. When you step off that threshold, they will either teach you how to fly, show you a soft landing, and they will show you the miracles in order to do what they are asking of us next. You can find me at angelhealinghouse.com, 831-277-3716, and here on Transformation Talk Radio every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Man, I am so fired up for this year. We're not done yet. We've got another hour right back on Facebook as well as on Transformation Talk Radio. We'll be right back.